The biggest takeaway is that Sean McVay is the most intelligent person in football, period. I say this because Sean McVay is the Elon Musk of the NFL.
Yes.
Incredibly forward-thinking. The old way of acquiring Super Bowls is dead and gone. Sean McVay has followed in and ushered in the new way to acquire chips. That's the biggest takeaway. That's what you all need to learn, because your favorite team either get on board or get left behind. As simple as that.
Okay.
The old days, early 2000s, mid-2000s, acquiring Super Bowls. Let's talk about the Patriots. You got to draft talent and develop talent. Tom Brady, Richard Seymour, Ty Law, Teddy Bruschi, Vince Wilfork, Willie McGinnis. Draft it, developed it, win. Baltimore Ravens, draft, develop, win. Ed Reed, T-Sizzle, Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis, Joe Flacco. Draft it, develop it, win. But now look at the last 2 years. Last Super Bowl, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Tom Brady. Just acquire it in the offseason or in the middle of the season and win. Those 4 players scored all the touchdowns in last year's Super Bowl. This Super Bowl, acquire it and win. Von Miller, 2 sacks yesterday, tied most sacks in Super Bowl history throughout a career with 4 now. Von Miller, acquire it and win. Odell Beckham. He was the biggest difference maker in the game. Both when he was on the field, his presence was felt, and when he was off the field, his presence was missed even more than it was felt when he was on the field. Jalen Ramsey, say what you will about how much he struggled, but we know how good Jalen Ramsey is, and we also know how good Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are. So if Jalen Ramsey is not in the game, as much as he struggled, it still would have been even worse for the Rams. So what Sean McVay has done is this. Been forward-thinking. Sean McVay, very simply put, said, I'm going to trade first-round picks for Super Bowl appearances, and your team needs to get on board. The Rams have not had a first-round pick since Sean McVay showed up in L.A. The Rams don't have a first-round pick since 2024, but guess what? They got a Super Bowl championship.
There it is.
No first-round pick, but they got a chip. So Sean McVay is the Elon Musk of the NFL. Last thing I'll say is this. General Motors, you'll find this interesting. By 2035, they are committed to emissions-free transportation. Why? Not because they thought of it, but because they realized, get on board or get left behind. Elon Musk, forward-thinking, said, you know what? Hey, we're going with these electric vehicles. Now everybody else, we got to go with these electric vehicles. Netflix, Hulu, subscription-based. Now everybody and their mama got a plus behind it. CNN Plus, Disney Plus, everybody got a plus.
Fox Plus.
Sean McVay, being the forward thinker that he is changing the way in which you acquire, attain, and achieve Super Bowls. That was my biggest takeaway.
Let me get some of these ribs right here. I love that. You hit me with a little curveball right there. Amazing. To me, the biggest takeaway was the Hollywood team had a Hollywood ending. And usually things don't fall in line with the design. Something goes awry. You ever built anything in your life? You ever purchased a new home and wanted to refurbish? Anything you've ever said, I want to add into in terms of design, something happens. Usually a contractor will come to you, he'll have the blueprint, and he'll say, okay, this is what's going to happen. It's going to happen at this junction. Then all of a sudden you look up, you spent twice as much and you spent twice as long and still didn't accomplish exactly what you wanted. Well, not these Rams, not Stan Kroenke, not this team with Sean McVay. This team went out there and did exactly what it desired, and it did it exactly when it desired to do it. So a lot of people out there say that money can't buy you love. Stan Kroenke says Exhibit A. Now, let me go a little bit with your take and tell you that I also had in my notes. It's interesting when you talk about a business. It's more than just a thought. It's also being supported financially somehow, some way. The reason that all businesses fail, is one reason. They run out of money. Now, that running out of money could be 2 ways. 1, we don't have it, or 2, we shouldn't spend it anymore because this is not going to succeed. But you always get to that one place. You run out of money. Stan Kroenke and his support and all the efforts he went through from relocating from St. Louis to here and building this stadium, and the stadium taking longer than it should have, costing more than it should, and then going out there and now supporting this team in checkbook to the tune of where they are flexed, they are stressed in terms of the cap. Doesn't matter. We are all in right now. So in a world where we think that fantasies can't come to reality, this Rams team just took it and made it a reality.
You know how it is in defense in that position. You're scrambling, you're trying to figure things out. It's 2nd and 1.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey's playing 10 yards off.
Yeah.
Throw it now, get a quick first down, and then see what happens. You throw a go ball, you waste the down. I understand regular season, you can get away with that. Playoff, Super Bowl, you can't get away with that. That play killed me. You know, I was subtly rooting for the Bengals.
What'd you say?
I was subtly.
What'd you say?
I was subtly
How'd that
rooting
go?
for the Bengals.
How'd that turn out?
Honestly, it just turned out bad, Sal.
Yeah.
So that was my other takeaway, was the youth, man.
Man, I hope your chest is ready because I'm about to punch it right here.
Please,
right in the middle. Yeah. Let me tell you, you can't blame this on Joe Burrow. One play or the entire game. We can't do that. That dude went out there and played blemish-free football.
Of
right?
course.
Respect, including that play right there. I thought you were going to show me OBJ getting hurt. That's when the game changed. And that's when, if you're a Cincinnati Bengal, you got to smell blood, and you have to attack. They did. They end up getting the lead into the fourth quarter. We'll discuss that later. But Acho, you just told on yourself. I know where you watched the game now. See, I could tell right now that you didn't stay at home and watch the game like me, just intently focused on it. You sit down, MJ. I was watching it. Anna Marie, no, I don't need anything else. Just watching the game and then hitting the DVR during the commercial breaks just to make sure I rewatch everything. You didn't do that. You also didn't go to the game, because if you go to the game, for real, you ain't watching the game.
You ain't watching any of it.
You saucing up and then doing selfies. That's all you're doing, right? So I could tell that you went to a Super Bowl party. I could see it. I've been there before, the Super Bowl party, because you're half in, you're half out. You're a little half pregnant, basically, at the Super Bowl party. You catching everything. Oh, yeah, what's up, homie? Oh, yeah. Oh, good seeing you. Oh, I love the show. Thank you, too. Then you watch the show. Then you watching the game. Then you watching your boy. Then you watching the game. And what I saw from that is you highlighted something that wasn't the highlight, and that wasn't the change of momentum. That wasn't the change of mindset.
Disagree.
None of that was. You know what was? If
Please.
you really have to go to a certain time where you're like, uh-oh, what is going on here? Some would say that penalty on the last drive. I'm not going there. Joe Burrow, where are the Stogies at? Minute and a half left, 2 timeouts, you got the ball. This is your time. But you know what? This was different than all the other times where Joe Burrow was able to light that same stogie. The one that Snoop said, Snoop was like, puff, pass. Joe Burrow had the ball at the end. And remember I told you, in all the postseason games before, the other team had the ball at the end. And their quarterback, the opposing quarterback, would throw it to their defense. And then Cincinnati, whether it was in overtime or Cincinnati in regular time, would go out there and win the game. That wasn't the case on this one. So the only thing you can really point to in terms of why did Cincinnati lose is because they finally got put in a position where Joe Burrow was asked to win the game at the end. Not the defense, not a joint effort, at the end. I don't want to highlight that because he's a second-year player who played a great game. But if you really want to go to the big board, go there.
So I don't want to have the why did Cincinnati lose conversation now. Obviously, we're having that later in the show.
You're right.
I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals lost because of Joe Burrow. My takeaway was the youth of the Bengals was on display, both from head coach Zach Taylor and from Joe Burrow. Very simple. A more veteran quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, a more veteran quarterback, Matthew Stafford. You look out there, you say it's 2nd and 1. I don't care what Zach Taylor called. Jamar Chase, I got Jalen Ramsey playing 10 yards off. Jalen Ramsey just got beat for 17 yards 2 plays prior. Let me just take the now pass. Give Chase a little signal, whatever the case may be. Give Chase a little signal, whatever the case may be. Throw it to him right now. Pick up that yard. Furthermore, Zach Taylor is my head coach, is my play caller. You can't call that. You can't waste that down right there. Other thing, and a lot of people are trying to figure out why wasn't Joe Mixon the star running back in for the last drive. I went back, I rewatched the game, I had to remember. The Bengals are going to pass the ball.
You already know that.
P. Ryan is a better pass blocker. Joe Mixon, if y'all recall, went to cut the linebacker for the Rams earlier on in the game. Didn't go well. Linebacker plays off the cut, sacks Joe Burrow. So Zach Taylor, I don't fully fault him for not having Joe Mixon in. But if you are going to run the ball on 3rd and 1, I probably would have trotted Joe Mixon in because the time was stopped. After your 2nd and 1 incompletion, time is stopped. Bring in your workhorse. Bring in your second best offensive player, one of the best running backs in the game of football. Put him in. My takeaway, Sel, was the youth of it all. To your point, I was at a watch party, but I was watching the game on my phone with my headphones in and watching the game on TV. And I rewatched the game this morning.
You ain't getting that invite next year. I'll tell you that.
So as I did watch it and rewatch it, I said, what changed? You hit Jamar Chase, you got 17 yards. What changed? You hit Tyler Boyd, you got 9 yards. What changed? Sean McVay, in my mind, out-schemed him. I'll end my thought by saying this. Everybody says quarterbacks don't play quarterbacks. Defenses don't play defenses. Coaches, offensive coordinators don't scheme against offensive coordinators. That is a vehement lie to me. A quarterback has to outplay the opposing quarterback. A defense has to outplay the opposing defense. A coach has to outcoach the opposing coach. Why do I say that is a lie, and I fervently believe that in my theology or doctrination of football? 4th and 1, game on the line.
Let's go.
The Rams are rushing for 1.5 yards a carry. 4th and 1, game on the line. Rams average 1.57 to be exact yards a carry with their running backs.
My dog.
The Rams are sitting here like, it's 4th and 1, 3 minutes left, game on the line. We can't run the ball. What does Sean McVay dial up? A reverse to Cooper Kupp, a jet sweep to Cooper Kupp, picks up 8 yards. It's 4th and 1, game on the line, 50-something seconds left. Zach Taylor, what do you dial up? Mind you, Joe Mixon is averaging 4 yards a carry.
Yeah,
what do you dial up? You dial up a pass play versus Aaron Donald and Von Miller on 4th and 1. And Sean McVay, you dial up a brilliant jet sweep on 4th and 1. To me, the difference in the game, coaches in my mind do coach against coaches. That's an argument for another day. But for me, it was Sean McVay, the teacher, remained the teacher. And Zach Taylor, who used to coach under Sean McVay, for those that don't remember or aren't familiar, the student remained the student.
Time! Good Lord, that was a take. Okay, all right, well, I understand. Rest, young soldier, rest. Oh, man, you just turned something really simple into something that was a little more complicated, because in this world, big bank takes little bank. Okay, here we go. Let's use Issa Rae as an example. I like this. Issa Rae, I heard of her when she was on YouTube, I guess, right? Blowing up.
Awkward black girl, yep.
Okay. What was the name of the show?
Awkward black girl.
Yeah, viral sensation. And then Big Bang just takes Little Bang. Oh, that's cute. Cute show. Let me just help you out here. Let me put you on HBO, and then obviously becomes who she is, a sensation, a star. Now, in this world, you saw 2 teams going at it. One has the worst budget in scouting in the NFL. One just bought itself an all-star team. So let's just say the backing was certainly behind this film, what the Rams were producing, right? Michael Bay style. One of those type of films versus, you're doing amazing on the net, but you're also not on the same level. So we see the Rams go against the Bengals, and what happened in this moment? It was really simple. You saw a talent conversation that looked kind of evenly matched, even though the Rams had the advantage once they got the injuries. No Higbee, no OBJ for most of the game. All of a sudden you started to say, the Bengals are right there. But the culture and the currency wasn't there for the Bengals the same as it was for the Rams. So when you get into a moment of truth, what do you bet on? You only can bet on your talent. And what Zach Taylor did was look at Joe Burrow and said, I heard what Acho said about you in do-or-die games. Everybody knows that Joe Burrow can show up no matter what the moment is. It's never too big for him. So Joe Burrow tried to go out there and do what Joe Burrow does. They didn't abandon the running game because they actually ran the ball much more effectively than the Rams did. But the Rams said, let's just get the quantity. We don't care as much about the quality. Joe Burrow tried to do it at the end after being knocked off in terms of some of the sacks, the 7th sack. I don't know if it's the 6th or the 7th sack. Dog, he almost was decapitated. But Joe Burrow was the only reason they could still stay in that ball game. So it's not about them being outcoached to me or this team being young and showing its colors. It's about a team that said, this is all we got. And then all they had was Joe Burrow trying to do what Joe Burrow does. It just came up short because I think he went against something greater.